So this is episode 2 of the Acquisition Engine, a 6-part mini-series on how confused freelancers or agency owners can go from patchy 3 to 10k months to consistent 20-30k months without any complex funnels or having to work endless hours to get there. Today is all about identity, the 5 shifts that fundamentally change how you operate so that the offer we shaped in episode 1 will actually hold under pressure. And the problem is that they rely on these ever-changing tactics, whether it's changing the price, whether it's pitching harder, posting more. It feels different for a few days, then you're back where you started. And here's why. How you see your role shapes what you do each week. What you do each week will inevitably become your system. Your system is what will produce the results we need to move the needle in the business to get to the 20-30k months. Now, if you keep acting like your only value is doing the tasks, you're going to rebuild the same business with a new label. So we need to understand that there are tasks that we need to accomplish that will help us move the business closer to the goal we want to achieve, right? Now, the way I've tackled this is that whenever a task feels heavy, what I like to do is I make the payoff closer and a lot more clearer. Right outreach on my book of to-do list becomes book 1 discovery call this week. If I would write improved positioning, then I would change that to lifting my price floor by £500 per client. If I would write set working rules, that would change to stop losing 8 to 10 unbilled hours every month. So what happens is that these small near wins will pull you forward. And that is the idea behind these shifts. So these small near wins will pull you much more forward. That is the idea or the thesis behind these shifts. Now, the old pattern looks like this. You sell your time and deliverables, you customize everything. You're pretty much a reactive individual rather than proactive because you're reacting to every message, every request. And essentially you judge the week by how tired or how wiped out you feel. Now, the pattern that I've noticed and have seen across many successful agencies is that the path to scale looks a lot more different because you sell outcome. You keep a focused offer that matches the buyer's real pain, and there's a simple weekly routine, and at the end you judge the week by how many results and what the margins of growth were. Now, if you're building every piece yourself, of course you're going to run out of time in the week. You need to understand or define what is good before the week even starts, what this should achieve next week, whether it's more inquiries, whether it's more bookings, and you need to hand these repeatable steps to specialists and keep the last checks or the final decisions to yourself, because your time should only go towards decisions, maintaining standards, and the final 10%, not every edit or looking over every caption. If it doesn't need your judgment, it shouldn't need your time. You need to stop letting your inbox set your day. Run a simple weekly routine. On Monday, you can agree the top 3 outcomes per client for the week, and then during the week you can produce, you can review each of these assets, probably limit it to just 1 round, and then on Friday you can send a short update to your clients. What's happened, what's next, any risks, any asks, and whenever a new request lands, place it in like a time slot or the next available slot that you have instead of blowing it up all this week. That is how you will protect quality and your sanity when you're trying to scale your agency to that next stage. Your buyer doesn't want to buy minutes or time with you. They want the shortest, safest path to an outcome, to a result. So when someone or a prospect asks, what's your hourly rate or what's your day rate, bring that conversation back to what the outcomes and the plan is. So for example, for your clinic, Mr. Prospect, the goal is to achieve 30 to 50 extra inquiries a month. Here is how we're going to get there and how often we're going to check progress and what will change if the early signs are off. Now, you want to price for value and the risk you're taking on, not for the number of edits or the number of videos that you have put in a folder. And if people can't describe who you are, what you do, and who you help in 1 sentence, you're too broad. So here's what you do. For the next 90 days, pick a lane. Pick 1 niche. You want to speak in the words of the buyer. Stop fluffing the words, stop adding jargon to it that nobody understands. Restaurants want seats filled on quiet days. Dental clinics want a steady, realistic range of new patient inquiries. And B2B businesses want qualified pipelines. Your content, examples, and offer should all point one way, so someone else can refer you without even thinking about it. If your bio fits any industry, it will fit now. So finally, we want to stop leading with tools and start leading with the plan. Your prospects and buyers don't choose you because of what camera you use or whatever plugin software you have. They decide when they can see a believable path from the minute they start with you or from today to the result they want. So your job is to make that path easy to picture. You need to make it easy for them to imagine that they are in that process of what it looks like to work with you. What happens in the first 4 weeks? What are the early signs that you will watch out for to know it's working? And what will you change if those signs are off? Spell it out in plain English. So for example, in week 1, You're going to agree the offer you're pushing out and map a content calendar around it. By week 2, you could ship out the first batch of assets. By week 3, you could run the first test and look at simple early signals. So whether it's the hook that's the problem, performance, lead generations, inquiry volume. And then by week 4, you decide on what to double down on what worked. Now, when you face a situation, a prospect says that budget is a problem, it's usually uncertainty in disguise. So what you need to do is to replace that uncertainty with a plan. Hey, Mr. Prospect, here's the result we're aiming for. Here's the next 4 weeks, and here's how often we're going to check progress. And here's what will change if we are off. Because when you're speaking to that prospect and you're explaining all of this, a straightforward roadmap makes the decision far easier than any list of tools or deliverables that you will provide. Now, in terms of what it looks like when it's executed really well, Joe, one of the students in my programs, went from cutting everything up himself. He was literally the editor, the director, the content creator. He was everything. But once we changed all of that and we made him in charge of the final 10%, implemented clear working rules and focused his time, he went from rocky 4 to 7K months to 25, 30K months in consistent revenue, all in under 4 months. Now let's take another student in the program. Same craft, but a different way of operating. Atik stopped being available for everything and anyone, and he decided to choose a lane. He tied his work to the outcomes, raised his floor, and kept the clients who valued the results. So naturally, of course, that will result in fewer clients, but guess what? We ended up increasing the baseline, so there were better fees, better structure to the agency. Now, all of this will power the acquisition engine because it's not just a list of tricks. It's a loop that will compound when your role matches your promise. Now, in episode 1, what the offer we made becomes believable because you start to sound like a specialist, a strategist, and you're focusing on a real problem to solve for these prospects. Your growth activity will work better because when you show up with a clear point of view, your overall acquisition, your brand outreach, the content, paid outreach, your brand messaging, your outreach, your content ecosystems, your light paid ads, all of these things that supercharge your agency will compound when your weekly routine and your boundaries protect the outcomes. You see, the reason of this entire episode is that identity is leverage, and without it, every tactic would slide back to you being default, going back to square one. And with the identity, with the right identity, the same two hands will create more value in less time. So episode 1 gave you the offer. Identity in episode 2 is how you run it like an operator, not just a task taker. Now in the next episode, I'm going to dive deep into building attention that converts. So this will be episode 3, where we'll design the content engine, mapping out your ideal buyer properly and creating the 3 pillars that do all the heavy lifting before you ever get on a call. And that is a wrap of episode 2. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. If there was a specific moment or point in this video that really stood out to you, then I would love to know your thoughts and your feedback in how you guys are receiving these types of videos, because it will only help me make these more better for you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode.